Right, from City Hall in Cape Town to the streets of Johannesburg. That's where we find my co-host anchor Bongiwe Zwane getting reaction from South Africans on the medium-term budget statement. Over to you, Bongiwe.
Good afternoon to you, Francis, and the viewers. Of course, talking about the issue of Eskom, the minister talking about the risk that the rolling blackouts are posing. And we are at a store here in Campus Square, and the center has been hit by rolling blackouts. And as we speak to a business owner here, Usama Azam, who is going to be telling us about the impacts that this also has on his business. Usama, the minister talking about Eskom being a risk and saying that they need to do all they can when it comes to the issue of rolling blackouts. Speaking this afternoon, talking about the issue of the Eskom debt, that they need to look into that so Eskom can focus on what it needs to do. Talk to us about the impacts that the rolling blackouts have on your business.
That's a lot of impact. I mean, you can see right now there's no customers, mall gets closed, everything. I mean, we open the shop for 9 hours. Out of that 9 hours, we have 4 hours load shedding. And then obviously you can't trade in the mall. The malls, at least if there's load shedding going to happen, then malls should think of generators and stuff so that we can still trade in. Because if we can't trade in, we can't make enough money to pay rents and stuff. So it's a lot of impact. I mean, load shedding has done a lot of business is not going well. Out of 9 hours, 4 hours, there's no load shedding at all. We have to close the shop because we can't run the shop during, there's too much dark as well. So that's why.
And I wonder for you, have you found yourself in a position where you have had to think of shutting your doors because of this, or maybe letting go of some of the staff members you have here?
We have to shut the doors because it's not safe as well during load shedding. There has been some incidents during the load shedding in this mall. Actually in our shop last year as well during the load shedding. So now we normally close the shop during the load shedding because...
What happened?
There was a robbery last year during the load shedding in the morning, 11 o'clock. We normally used to keep it open. So now we have to close the doors because of the load shedding, because it's dark and everything. It's dark in the basement as well. So last time it did happen with us specifically. So yeah, we can't take that risk again.
And Francis, Usama talks about, of course, the impact from his business point of view, saying that they have to, out of the 9 hours that they, the mall is operational, at the same time, it's about 4 hours of rolling blackouts. And I'm going to ask the students to come closer, Katleho as well as Karabo, who are students at, of course, UJ nearby. They have their own gripes. And the minister, of course, we know that in February, allocating an additional 32.6 billion rand towards ANSFAS, but it looks like they have got some kind of reaction to the medium-term budget. For you, Karabo, let's start with you. How do you react? What for you stood out? If you do have anything that stood out, if not, what are you hoping that the minister addresses next year during the budget speech?
Okay, if there's one thing I really want to be addressed, is the issue of 1.5 NSFAS that we're receiving, because like the prices of food have gone up. And like 1.5 is not really enough.
So is this 1,500 rand?
Yeah, it is 1,500 rand. So like, okay, the university does help with food parcels once in 2 weeks, I think. But then it's not enough because like there are a lot of students who go to the GOG where we receive the food. So like some of them don't get the food. So like the 1.5 is really not enough. So if maybe it can be 1.9, I don't know, but should be increased because like, it's hard for the students. Some students end up dropping out because like it's really hard. Yeah, that's what I can say.
For you, Katleho?
For me personally, I feel like load shedding is still a problem because some of us have courses that allow us to be on our laptops almost all the time. So I guess the issue of load shedding impacts me the most because I'm really just trying to get schoolwork done and yeah.
And as you were telling us that, your studies, really require you to spend a lot of time doing drawings, because architecture does have that kind of, requirement for you to be able to do that. So what impact do the rolling blackouts have for you? Do you have time when you can't be on your laptop? Do you have time when you can't even be able to study? Give us a sense.
So basically, I would go to school because of the computer rooms that we have. They run on generators. So usually when we have load shedding during the night or the day, I go there just to save some time and do the most that I can in terms of schoolwork.
All right, as you heard, Francis, these are some of the voices of the people here. We're hearing from a business owner, Osama, talking about how he has to close the doors because last year they were robbed during, load shedding. And this, of course, raises safety concerns. You're listening to students. They talk about NSFAS. They want a bit more of an allocation to their monthly allowances. At the same time, there is, of course, that issue of rolling blackouts. When you think about the fact that, some of the students here who are relying on their laptops are not able to make do and, in fact, have to go to university to all be crammed. So we'll continue to bring you more reaction, Francis, from some of the people here on what they heard and how are they reacting to all of it.
Thank you so much, Bongiwe. And yes, it affects the people on the ground. Talk today around service delivery, around the impact of the power cuts, low growth at a time of high inflation.